Great decorating is all about the details, including a gorgeous textured set of coasters. How we love a coaster. Functional. And why not be beautiful? Quince has a gorgeous set of woven rattan coasters in 3 terrific colors with their own little holder that you're going to absolutely love. And if you haven't visited quince.com/DTT yet, get on over there. It's everyday elevated living without the markup. From crisp 100% linen bedding and soft organic cotton towels to airy curtains and premium kitchen tools designed for everyday use. And the best part? Like Quince's clothing, their home goods are half the cost of similar brands. By partnering with top artisans, Quince cuts out the cost of the middleman and passes the savings on to us. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices and premium fabrics and finishes. Elevate your space with home essentials from Quince. Go to quince.com/DTT for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/DTT to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/DTT. Hey everybody, I'm Kelly Wilkness here with Anita Joyce, and this is Decorating Tips and Tricks. Today is another DTT Plus where you get more of us. Today we are discussing how to add color to a white kitchen. Many of you might have a classic white kitchen.
So many of us have white kitchens, and we love our white kitchens, but we're also bored with them. And so how can you add color without spending a lot of money? That is a big question a lot of us have. I have a white kitchen in my new house, but I also want to add some color. So this is something that I'm contemplating too. So I think we have a lot of great ideas here, and most of these are pretty budget friendly.
A white kitchen is classic, timeless. You really can't go wrong. But sometimes it might feel a little sterile, or because color has become so much more popular in the last couple of years, which we've discussed in our trend episodes, you may just feel the urge to add a little bit of color to your white kitchen. And maybe you have color in the rest of your house, and it would make sense for that color to flow through into the kitchen.
How about an accent wall? And you know, Kelly, I'm not normally an accent wall girl, but I think in a kitchen, I think it might work, especially if you have a lot of walls of upper and lower cabinets, but you have one wall where it's a whole wall. I mean, in fact, we had a client recently, the design client, where, we talked about doing an accent wall because here was this little eating area right off of her kitchen, and it would be so easy just to do an accent wall and look really wonderful. So there may be a way to add some color on a wall without doing the entire kitchen, or if you have open concept, without doing the entire room.
Oh yeah, that was a great idea and would really work in that space. So analyze your space. Maybe you do have an area that would just be calling out for an accent color, or even some of the removable wallpaper could be wonderful. We can't see each and every one of your kitchens, but go in there, think about it, and use these ideas to see if you can riff off and add some color to your own space. I like adding things that make a kitchen feel more like another room, just a regular room, not a utilitarian space. So if your kitchen is white and it's feeling a little sterile, I suggest you adding things that would be normally thought to be in other rooms, like a lamp. I love a lamp on a counter. So you want to go with maybe a shorter, maybe a little bulbous lamp, something that's a little squatter so it can fit under the upper cabinets if you have them. And you could also add artwork. I have lots of pieces of art in my white kitchen, and that's really where I bring in color. I also transition the art in and out. I do it sort of seasonally, but also if I just get a little tired of looking at something, I have a couple of pieces that can go in each one of these spots, one being over my vintage stove, and another spot where I love having a piece of art is right in front of my kitchen windows. So I have double sash windows. So there's the window molding or the casing in between. So a little piece of wood there where I was able to put a very small nail, and I only hang maybe pieces that are tops 8x10, something like that. But I get to look at the art while I'm working at the kitchen. It blocks a little bit of the window because I don't have drapery or curtain there or blinds. So it really does a lot of things. It blocks my neighbors just a tad, gives me something to look at, and adds that pop of color that we're talking about today.
Great idea. Well, I'm sure they'd notice if you didn't have clothes on, though. So maybe just part of the view there. But hey, it's better than nothing, right? What about a rug? What about adding a colorful rug in your kitchen? And depending on how the kitchen is laid out, you might not be able to get a very large rug in, but I'm talking about as large a rug as possible. So not just a little rug that goes in front of your sink, but a really big one. If you have an island, you're not going to be able to put anything too big in there. But I think the bigger rug you can get in there, the more you can cram in some beautiful color very easily. It's very easy, like you said, Kelly, to change those rugs out too with the seasons, or just when you're bored with a particular color. This is so much more flexible than painting your cabinets a color, because this is so changeable.
Yes, and if you have an island, you can maybe do 2 long runners on either side of it. Again, you'll analyze how your kitchen is configured and figure out which of these tips and ideas will work for you. But I think 2 long runners could work beautifully on either side of the island. Maybe one is then in front of the sink area, and maybe on the other side you have some counter stools, and then you could have the runner under there. And definitely don't go for that little doormat in front of the sink rug. That's just not a great look. A longer runner is going to be beautiful and really have a much more pleasing feeling underfoot, but also add a lot more color or pattern, because it's obviously a much bigger square footage if you're going with a longer runner. And talking about those counter stools, maybe they're just wood, and maybe you could add a pad. Those are very inexpensive to purchase. So you could get different colored solids. You could even do a pattern. Or maybe you just change out the counter stools completely and you do something that's a different type of material, maybe a rattan, or maybe some of those French bistro chairs.
Well, I love that idea. And I've noticed from a lot of the consults we've done lately, that was an area we really did recommend that people make some changes to those counter stools, because that tends to be something that you bought maybe a long time ago, and maybe you're on a budget and maybe didn't put a lot of thought into it, when that can really change the feel of a room by simply changing those counter stools. So take a look at those counter stools, because that's a wonderful way to add color and refresh your kitchen. So what about your light fixture? I was just thinking about the light fixture that we just replaced, and we put in a green one in the remodel that I just talked about recently in a recent episode in our mountain house. We put in this beautiful green lantern. It's so pretty. In fact, I love the color so much that I echoed the same green in an electric tea kettle in there. That's just really just very charming. So there's so many things that you can do even with just appliances in there, or just small things like that, where you can echo a particular color and really give that cohesive feel while adding that pop of color.
Echo the color. That is key to everything we're talking about today. So I'm so glad Anita mentioned that. You just don't want to have one pop of a color. You want to then carry that color throughout. Say you have a piece of art that has several different colors in it and you want to pull one color out. Then you can have that. Maybe your counter stools have a cushion that pulls in a green that's in your artwork. And then, as Anita mentioned, she did a green light fixture, or you could do something simple like a green tea towel, or a green pitcher, or something that you're maybe putting your wooden spoons in. Just a small pop around the room so that color is flowing throughout the space will make it really pleasing to your eye. Hey, we'll be right back with the rest of the show, but keep listening so we can continue bringing you DTT. So have you tried Dupe yet? If you haven't, come on, dupe.com. It is going to be your new shopping best friend. And it's not just for furniture. I know I've shared with you about my coffee table dupe, but you can save money with Dupe on fashion, shoes, jewelry, and more. I just used Dupe to find an absolute perfect twin of this t-shirt that I wanted. It was an $80 t-shirt. I was not going to pay $80 for a t-shirt. Dupe helped me find the twin. like maybe the exact same shirt. Find something you love, and then you can find replicas, twins, and maybe the exact thing for so much less. Give Dupe a try today. It is really so easy to use. You just type dupe.com / before any product URL in your browser, and voila! It instantly finds you less expensive alternatives. They even have an app and a browser extension you can download. No account is required. No sign up is required. It is completely free. I know, can you believe it? But it is completely free to use. Stop wasting money on brand names and start saving with dupe.com today.
So we're talking about appliances. What else can you put in there? Maybe some cafe curtains in your window, or just regular curtains above, if you have a window above the sink, just something to give a little privacy and add a little bit of color. There's so many things that you can add that really aren't that big, but remember, we're not going to suggest that you put a bunch of tchotchkes out on the countertop in the kitchen. If it's an appliance you're actually going to use, like my electric tea kettle or a toaster, I think that's great. But if it's something you're not really going to use, we don't really suggest that you put it in there.
Oh, yeah. I think the accent has to be something that is useful as well as beautiful. You just don't want to have something out there for the sake of having it. Maybe a big bowl in the center of your island, but that's where you put the fruit. And it's the same color that you're using as your accent color. Another way to introduce color to an all-white kitchen without changing the color of the cabinetry is to see if you have glass cabinets, then maybe you want to paint the interior of the glass cabinet, or simply switch out whatever dishes or plates you have in there and make a very deliberate decision to use your accent color in those spaces. So if you have glass front cabinets and you want to use, say, the color green, then maybe you have green pitcher, maybe you have 3 green bowls stacked up and you have something else green. So that whole space is pulling in that color. But the cabinets haven't changed, just what you put in them changed.
Oh, and I love the idea of painting the back of the cabinets. I think that's a great idea. And that's just a way that you can add the color, but you still basically have a white kitchen.
Yeah, it's subtle, but it's definitely going to do something. A really subtle way of doing it is adding in another metal. So maybe you have chrome or brushed nickel, or maybe you even have brass. But if you add in another metal, so maybe you change out some of the hardware or you use some other metal pieces in the space, you don't even have to pull in another color. Even that subtle change is going to warm up a white kitchen, particularly if you've got chrome or the brushed nickel. If you're adding a warm brass, that's really going to warm up the space.
That does add another kind of color, even though it's a metal. I think that is a nice way to add some freshness to the kitchen. If you're wanting to spend a little more money, you could do some wallpaper or even just paint the island. I mean, that's maybe feels like a much more doable project than painting your entire kitchen. And like we said, maybe you don't want all your kitchen cabinets painted, but I like the idea of painting just the island.
And that's something you could DIY, and just like the back of the interior of the back of the cabinets, you could do that yourself. A super simple way is add some plants, some really healthy green plants, or maybe even something that blooms on occasion would be beautiful in an all white kitchen. We love the white kitchen. We love it for its classic feel and its timeless nature. But yeah, it might just be time, especially during the winter months, where you just want to add a little something. And that's what's so beautiful about having a white kitchen is it's kind of a chameleon.
Well, Kelly, I think we've covered a lot of ideas here in a short amount of time. So thanks so much for hanging out with us today on our bonus episode. And remember, we're here to inspire you to create a beautiful home. Until next time.
Want to talk to us? Well, we really want to talk to you. So let's schedule a design consult. Anita and I are here to give you individualized, actionable advice on how to create the beautiful home you want and deserve. It's so easy to schedule a design consult with us. Simply click the link in the show notes or head to decoratingtipsandtricks.com/consult. When we talk to you on the scheduled time, we will be ready with so many great tips, advice, and yes, tricks. So sign up today for a design consult. We can't wait to talk to you.